The Tour of Wallonie, and they are on the finishing climb. They're just making their way up towards the first appearance on the finish line. This is a little dress rehearsal for what's going to happen in just over 13 kilometers time, and you can tell that this is not for the faint-hearted. It's just about a kilometer long, and it's 10.8% on average, depending on where you're getting your statistics. Suffice it to say, it's a tough one, and the bunch have already made it onto the bottom, the lower slopes of this climb. Inside 1 minute their advantage, and now we're starting to see the attacks come off the front. The BMC team have pretty much owned this one throughout the last, well, since we've come on air, and for a long time before that as well, in the company of the Wanty Group Gobert squad. But now some counter-attacks starting to come from inside the bunch.
Yeah, this looks like Stein de Volder of the Verandas Williams Creelan team, and former winner of the Ron Tour of Flanders. So the old man of the peloton starting to fire off the front.
Alex Kirsch is pressing on, chased by Alexis Goujar. Alex Kirsch, the Luxembourg rider. And there's no accord left at this moment. It's every man for himself. 45 seconds the advantage, and it's shrinking rapidly. And the old dog for the hard road, Stein de Volder, former champion of Belgium, former winner of the Tour of Flanders, as Brian has said, is hanging on to a narrow advantage, and BMC satisfied to just watch that spectator just ambling across in front of the bunch. I mean, more respect than that, please. Even though there is, well, not too many meters between Stein de Volder and the bunch behind. Quite a bit of time, really. Gives you an indication of just what a steep road this is. Inside the barriers now for the riders up front. And Goujar has made it up to Alex Kirsch, and that's useful. Two strongest riders in that breakaway group. Initially 7, down to 5 in the last 20 kilometers or so. And now it's Alexis Goujar on the front for the French AG Tour Le Mondial squad that presses on in the company of Alex Kirsch, the WB Varan Classics team. And behind, Ladagnou has missed the bus a little bit.
Yeah, this is a strong push by Goujar, and Kirsch just kind of levels out a little bit. Ladagnou is just struggling a little bit to stay with him. So this is the push for glory for the stage. You can see that the BMC team were happy to allow de Volder to go on the attack, and they want to try and keep a little bit of strength in numbers. They don't want to go ballistic in this group behind, so they want to keep as many teammates round about towns as possible, so when we come over this climb they can regroup a little bit and then chase in towards the finish and try and help the yellow jersey to a potential stage win here.
Well, de Volder's trying to make his way across from the bunch. Who else is going to come to play here? Because the BMC squad do not want to chase this one down too early. They're trying to just time it absolutely perfectly. So too the Lotto Soudal team. Francis de Jeux starting to gravitate towards the front. You can see representatives of the Katusha squad as well. Also thereabouts. Might have been Kuznetsov over on the left-hand side against the barriers as the riders have made their way through the finish line, have got the bell. It's 2, chased by 1, chased by 2. Well, the 2 up front, Alexis Goujar, stage winner in the Vuelta a España a couple of years ago. Alex Kirsch, second place on a stage, and indeed on the overall of his home tour, the Tour of Luxembourg, past the team buses. No need for a particularly wide road here because, well, the riders are going to be stretched thin by the effort they've made. It's not exactly into immediately into a descent, so these riders are going to have to work for what they've got.
Yeah, exactly, and they're trying to do that. Kirsch at the back, Goujar for AG2 are just doing his turn now. Ladagnou, I think, unfortunately, he'll be drifting back, but this is a hard effort here. 2 riders combining well together, thinking of the stage win, but it's who wants to push on at the front of the peloton. Coming through the finishing line, we noticed that Lotto Soudal were looking after Tosh van der Sande. I think this final might be a little bit difficult for Tosh van der Sande, but we'll have to wait and see how fast they go up the first part of this climb, because that looks as if it was a very difficult one right from the word go, right from the bottom of the climb. It levels as we go through the finishing line, but it looks as if Ladagno is not going to make it back to the two in front.
Yeah, he's got that sinking feeling. They're disappearing into the distance. Ladagno finds himself sitting third rider on the road at the moment, but 22 seconds in arrears from the peloton. That's Stijn de Volder. That's the rider who attacked out of the peloton. Who finds himself dangling off the front. Lotto Soudal have come to get involved and to set the tempo on the front. They've put a few riders up to the four. Monty Group Gobert well up as well, and BMC are now playing more of a watching brief as more of the other teams want to get involved.
I think Lotto Soudal may be looking after Jelle van Endert, their climber. So I think they're setting themselves up. So Tosh van der Sande sitting in second place there with Van Endert just behind. So, and I think it was De Boost was sitting just at the front of the peloton.
Well, Jasper de Boist took the stage victory yesterday. Jelle van Endert was fourth on stage one, which in many ways was just that little bit more difficult. Van Endert 12th overall. Can he produce the victory that they would so dearly like? Wouldn't it be nice for the Lotto Soudal squad to double up? Well, it's not going to happen for Stijn de Volder. Has a little look around, realizes that brave effort as it was, it's not going to have the desired effect. And also two riders from the early break. Siskevicius in the blue has just been retained, as indeed has Amel Grundahl Janssen here in the black and yellow colours of Team Lotto NL Jumbo. Amel Grundahl Janssen was virtual leader on the road for much of this stage, but the Norwegian rider dragged back into the fold. Will he be able to hang on at least till the bottom of the hill? Will he be able to contribute for his team? Have his energy levels been expelled enough at this moment? Into the final 10 kilometers of stage 3 of Tour of Wallonie, and it's just under a minute's advantage.
Yeah, looking, it's stretched out over the top of the climb. So Gouchard for AG2R and Kirsch in the yellow just behind, pushing hard, and the mutual service car just about to drop in behind him. So there's an opportunity here. They never lost too much time on that climb, and there's an opportunity for a stage win here. But Lotto Soudal in the red have got numbers at the front of the peloton. They've got some help from Monty Group Gobert. You can see the orange of Rompot as well up towards the front. Maybe thinking of Pim Lichtart today, but yeah, there's so many options. A couple of tough days already, but Lotto Soudal coming up to the front with their stage winner from yesterday.
Well, from superhero to super domestique within the blink of an eye, and that's how cycling works. It is very much a team sport, and Jasper de Boist, after his heroics yesterday and taking that great win for the Lotto Soudal squad, finds himself setting the tempo and looking out, we believe, for Jelle van Endert. Sitting at the back of this line of three riders. Monty Group Gobert are going to contribute, and they're starting to attack each other behind. There was a little bit of communication between them, and you got the sense that Gouchard was a little bit anxious and wanted to get a little bit more contribution from Alex Kirsch. That was my interpretation for what it was worth. Is that how you saw it, or did you manage to pick up on that?
Yeah, I think so. I think they know there's an opportunity here with 55 seconds now. I was asking a little bit more from them, but it's been a long, hard day for these riders, and you know, strength will prevail. And Gouchard has pushed on. He never really attacked. He pushed on. He knows this stage went up for grabs. It's still in the balance at the moment. It really depends on who's chasing at front of the bunch. Do the team of Lotto Soudal and Monty Group Gobert have the strength to bring everybody back?
Well, no doubt Boyd, and given a considerable morale boost by the exceptional performance of the AG2R Mondial squad at the Tour de France over the last 3 weeks, Alexis Gouchard continues to press on for glory. Stage win, podium finish in Le Grand Boucle. Can he add to their exciting Palmares from 2017? Goujar presses on. Ladanu hasn't quite been retained by the peloton, so the pace of the peloton, I call it a peloton, but it's a considerably reduced group. That climb last time round shelled a number of riders. 50 seconds is the lead, but that hill really is particularly steep. And at the end of the day of racing, this is pure Ardennes racing, isn't it? It's just up and down all day, and it's just something of an elimination race. And Kirsch, you just saw it. There's just no way that he could stay in the type of roads that have been presented to the riders today. And Goujar he's on a flat one of those few flat roads you get in this region. Mouth agape, absolutely flat chat. Nothing held back here into the final 8 kilometers. Got 5 miles, and at the head of affairs, Goujar hunkering low over the bars, trying to make himself as aerodynamic as possible. He's just got a bit of a wound on his left elbow. I'm not sure whether that was open today or whether it's just one that he's picked up in recent times, but at the moment it's all looking good for Alexis Goujar. Kirsch behind. Well, he's been distanced, but he's pressing on as best he can.
Yeah, he's still got a good enough advantage, 51 seconds. If he hits the bottom of the climb with that sort of advantage, he stands a chance. But you can just see that he's given it 100%. And when you give 100% and you hit the bottom of the climb of that type of steepness, the strength just goes completely from your legs. He started slow in the race, 84th place in the first stage, 110th yesterday, and you know, he hasn't raced. He was a DNF in his national championships at the end of June. So a lot of these riders have gone away training, and they'll get stronger as this race goes on. And it's obviously proven that Goujar is starting to find his legs already.
Yeah, honing his legs towards another participation in the Vuelta a España, the final Grand Tour of the season. He's a former stage winner in that event. He's not quite down the bottom of the block, but it was a welcome descent for Goujar into that right-hander. Tiptoed through it nicely on slippery roads and made his way back onto the next section of flat road. Goujar setting a tempo that is maintaining this advantage. Now it's down to 50 seconds, but is it coming down fast enough? Question is, how much of an advantage does he need at the bottom of the hill? They hit the bottom of the hill with just about a kilometre remaining. He's got another 5k of this effort before he gets there. Alex Kirsch, nothing like the same power retained by the Luxembourg rider as he continues to press on, but surely will be scooped up by what's left of the peloton. I call it the peloton. It is certainly the main group on the road, but it's considerably shrunken in size in recent kilometres. Kirsch is suffering. Still the red jerseys on the front. Lotto Soudal have taken control. BMC have owned this one for much of the day. Wanty Group Gobert have the rider second overall. So we'll watch out to see how Zandro Maurice can get on up the hill. And what's going to happen in terms of stage honours. Also, how it's going to affect the overall classification. And Tour Wallonie is certainly no gimme. Perhaps one for the sprinters tomorrow. But the final stage has its difficulties as well. Kirsch takes the sunglasses off, but it's a considerably more laboured style. Goujar's is a busy style, but he gets low over the bars. Great effort. Lotto Soudal on the front of the peloton, inside 6 kilometres. Goujar finds the road, rising once more out of the saddle to try and maintain some sort of momentum, but those legs are screaming, his lungs are burning, but he knows that this is an effort worth going for, because the bunch now, well, he's stretched his advantage, managed to grab back a few seconds, and Lotto Soudal going to be satisfied with this. One feels not. BMC are going to leave them to it.
Yeah, BMC happy with this situation. No danger for the yellow jersey. This is just about the stage win now. Goujar started the day over 11 minutes, almost 12 minutes down in general classification. So, you know, they're happy with this. And also with BMC, there are bonus seconds, 10, 6 and 4 on the finishing line. So for if Goujar takes them away. So they're happy, but it's all about the stage win now. 53 seconds, is that going to be enough? It's still touch and go, because he's given absolutely 100%. And when he gets to the bottom of that decline, Declan, he'll have to obviously have as much strength as possible to get up it. And it's quite easy to lose at least a minute in this final ascent.
Yeah, telltale signs of scuffing on the shorts of the AG Tour Le Mondial rider tells us that indeed he was off his bike at some stage today, and the Well, small wound on his elbow will be something of nothing, I think, at the moment. Not even something he'll be aware of. Alex Kirsch is still dangling off the front of the peloton, doing a great job indeed. 14-second, 15-second lead over the peloton. Now finds himself over a half-minute down on Alexis Goujar. So what a superbly strong, committed performance from the young Frenchman. 24 years of age. He's surely going to lead the field into the bottom of the hill, but it's down to 46 seconds. He's going to need all that, and perhaps a little bit more, as the peloton gets set to charge up the hill. We've raced from Arlon to Oufalise in the Luxembourg region. This is where Montgomery met Patton back around about the time of the Battle of the Bulge in World War II. What sort of meeting of minds is there going to be when we hit the bottom of the hill in the third stage of Tour of Wallonie? Down to 45 seconds. Sense of urgency now in that peloton, as Lotto Soudal continue to control things on the front, while other squads starting to make their presence felt towards the front. The Rompot squad putting riders into the chase. All hands to the pump. Three kilometers left for Alexis Goujar. Can he possibly hang on? 41 seconds. It's a 9-second lead over the peloton for the man sitting second on the road. That's Alex Kirsch. Alex and Alexis up front. Well, it's Goujar that leads the field into the final 2,700 meters. And the young Frenchman been out front all day. Originally part of a 7-rider breakaway group that was whittled down to 5. And then on the first of 2 ascents of the Mont Saint-Roch, he pressed on with this man, Alex Kirsch. Kirsch not really able to make any contribution, so Goujar attacked his breakaway companion and now is racing on to what he hopes will be glory. Goujar now 7 seconds just in front of the bunch. Indeed, Kirsch is doing a good job, just 7 seconds ahead of the bunch, and that updated time indicates that it's going to be tough for Alexis Goujar. Care to call it?
It's going to be a difficult one for Goujar now. I think 40 seconds. I think the first time up they lost about, they went into about a minute and a half advantage, and they lost half of that. So I think it's still touch and go. It's what he's got left in his legs. You can see he's already been on the deck with a crash. He's given absolutely everything to get as much time into this climb as possible. But as he hits this climb, if his legs buckle, then it's going to be all over. But a stage winner of the in the Vuelta a couple of years ago in 2015, he shows he's got the strength. He's coming back after a training block, and I think for sheer effort and desire, he deserves the win. But it's coming down all the time. You've got to remember that Lotto Soudal are chasing very hard at the back, and we all see Rompot as well. So there's a big chase on to the bottom of this climb, and if this comes down to about 30 seconds, then there's every possibility that someone from the peloton that we're seeing now in a picture could win this stage.
Well, now Goujar is into the lower slopes of this finishing climb. He's less than a kilometre remaining, and a half a minute is his advantage. Will it be enough? How much strength is he going to take into this finishing climb? Is it too little, too late from Team Rompot, who are getting riders up towards the front? 8th on stage 1, courtesy of Pim Lichtart. Myers and Hasselman also well to the fore in the overall standings. It's Lotto Soudal that own it as we hit the lower slopes of this climb. Indeed, it looks like Van der Sande that was had led them in behind. And look at the way that this climb really slows the progress of Alexis Goujar. He must be, his legs must be absolutely burning. And now we wait for the big push. Where is the attack going to come from? They mass on the left-hand side of picture, right-hand side of the road. Française de Jeu, Katusha on the opposite side of shot.
But they can't ease back. They can't ease back now. They need to keep going, and it looks as if there's a bit of a push now from BMC. Goujar looking behind, because Netsov was also looking to help out the chase. So it's looks as if Goujar's legs have just completely gone now.
Oh, it's pure lactic acid, isn't it? He's almost come to a standstill in comparison with the bunch. What a brave effort from Alexis Gujar, but he's just going to be mopped up. They knew they had control. Dylan Duns looks in control. Tosh van der Sande is there as well in the sprints jersey, just on the right-hand side. But Duns looks like he's in good shape at the moment. The man from BMC is going to be escorted into the closing stages now. Duns lights it up and opens up a 2, 3, 4, 5 bike length advantage over Tosh van der Sande. Van der Sande can do nothing about it. Delco Marseille Provence have a rider in there, and Dylan Duns is racing to glory, surely. Is there anyone coming out of this one is going to be able to prevent the man who was third in the Tour of Wallonie earlier this year? Flèche Wallonne, and Dylan Duns is pressing on to take stage 3. Well, he's got the yellow jersey after consistent performances in the first 2 days of action in Tour of Wallonie, but Dylan Duns, well, he was hardly breathing, was he? And it all seemed so easy until he unleashed that attack, and there was absolutely nothing that anyone could do about closing that one down. Could be Yannick Martinez. We're just trying to get full sight of the rider from Delco Marseille Provence, who's racing potentially for second place, but there's no doubt about the man who's going to get the glory. He's inside the final 100 metres, and Dylan Duns is going to press on for all the time he can possibly get, but he's going to rubber stamp his position at the head of the general classification in the Tour of Wallonie. He's going to extend his advantage, and he's also most particularly and most importantly going to take stage honours. Dylan Duns raises his arm. He has taken stage 3 of Tour of Wallonie, and Duns is in good shape now for the overall as they race behind. Racing up towards the line, is it Yannick Martinez that has managed to get it? We wait for full confirmation, but Delco Marseille Provence get a very useful second place finish. It was 10 seconds on the line for Dylan Duns. He takes a very cool, calm and composed victory.
That was class. He was a class above everybody else there in that finish, and when he went, it was everybody else was just looking for second place there. And you know, BMC rode on the front pretty much all day with one to Group Gobert, and when he accelerated there, you could see the effort of Gujar. His just legs buckled from him, but this man up there in the podium in Flèche Wallonne showed the reason why he's in that yellow jersey, and took a well-deserved victory there. A lot of hard work from his team there, and it was Loic Vliegen that led him pretty much halfway up that climb, and when he took off, that was it. Game over for everybody else.
Here's the moment when he lit the blue touch paper, and absolutely nothing that Tosh van der Sande could do about that one. It was just a different class. Maybe if he hadn't been in the way, then it might have been possible for one or two riders to get around it. But I don't think there was anything that anyone could have done about Dylan Duns. His face is contorted in pain, but in reality, that's as comfortable as it's ever going to be. And he's really put himself into a very strong position in the overall general classification.